but they're really, really, really important. And you may not catch a lot of these things. So we're going to go through them. But the other thing about it is, knowing it and then actually practicing to be purposeful to observe that person is another thing. How to read the signs of someone that is actually going through a lot of struggle and mental pain and know when they're needing help. Because sometimes, you know what? Talking from experience, there were people that are, my cousin committed suicide recently. There's things that are happening in my family. I didn't know these things. And although I consider myself to be someone that really reads people.
And when you consider yourself more emotionally intelligent, but you missed.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to understand, there's two sides to the equation. One is knowing it, all of the things that we're going to talk about, because these are simple things, but they're really, really, really important. And you may not catch a lot of these things. So we're going to go through them. But the other thing about it is, knowing it and then actually practicing to be purposeful to observe that person is another thing.
Especially at this time, it's very important because what we are going through, any part of the world you are, your friends, family, no one will be thriving at this point. Everyone's life got stuck and they're just trying to move and make it. Maybe someone is lucky and they're able to maneuver through it. People always do, but most of the people are at a disadvantage from the last few years, and be it like their social life, be it their personal career, studies, everything has been affected. And
100%.
Not a lot of people are not coping well with that. And we know for a fact that people don't actually reach out and ask for help. They try to help themselves and sort it out themselves. What is this person going to help me with?
That's right.
But these cues that we're going to talk about, this is something they all give away. And 100%. It is not their giveaway like, oh, if you find this out, come and help me. This is something you can just see in their behavior, and it just sheds subconsciously, but which is a big take for you as a responsible friend, family member, as a responsible partner. You should be looking out for these things because this is what makes you this is the test of your character, and you're human, and you're not an animal. You're not only going to play with them when you play with them, but when they need you, this is your, I would say this is pretty much a duty of moral duty as well. For if you're
100%.
If I have a best friend who's struggling, if I don't know about it, then I'm a shit best friend. So
we've all done it, man. Every single one of us, and that's the thing. So it is a big responsibility, and I blame myself a lot for things, and I've had to overcome that. But now I know what to do better.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the things we're going to go through, we're going to explain the two different sides of the coin, because some people are ones that are going to express themselves more in order to hide, and some people just close themselves.
Different coping mechanisms, but they have pretty much, you can tell from both those mechanisms.
100%.
Yeah.
Before we go on, you're going to know someone that knows someone that's struggling, or you may, you're going to be able to contact someone that may need to hear this, that doesn't even know they need to hear this, because someone in their life might be tragic. Because I give you this example, my cousin, everyone thought he was, everyone at the shops, he was doing security with me.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, man, I had zero idea. And I had a guy just yesterday was saying, he came down to sit with us for lunch, and my son's a psychologist, and he said he didn't feel one single thing off that guy. He just said, wow, that guy's such a nice guy. He had no way of even connecting anything negative towards him. So you need to share this with your friends so that your friends can just be aware. Being aware is really important. Share it with at least one or two of your friends. Put it out anywhere you can, because these are the things that are going to make the change. People, our souls only live for so long. So, first one is, it can be the most obvious if you already know it, but it's distraction. But it's important to understand how the distractions work. So, when the whole situation came, when lockdown came in, you'll notice that everything rose, suicide rates, mental health rates. And the reason for it happening was not because, all of a sudden, I won't say the word, but, lockdown created people's mental health issues. It just didn't allow them to go through their coping mechanism.
Yeah.
So instead of them being able to cover it with going out and distracting themselves, they didn't have that distraction, so they didn't know how to handle it. So the distraction is anything that makes you, anything that takes you away from having to think about the things that bring pain to your mind. And that could be done in any way, shape, or form. It could just be as simple as, let's say you're not an outgoing person anyway, but now you're starting to play Xbox a whole lot more. Okay, it ties into our other ones, you know, our behaviors, but also could be going out and drinking a lot more, numbing the pain. Think of anything that can numb your pain. Drinking, smoking, drugs, alcohol. Those are obvious, but you may not realize just how much of an effect it is until you understand that they're actually not just doing it for fun, and they're actually doing it to cope. You know, it could be so many different things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be destructive. It doesn't have to be, hey, I'm damaging my body, because those are the obvious ones to most people. It could be, hey, I'm going to go for a lot more walks lately. I'm going to go for a lot more. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go do all these sorts of things where just more so being out, having to remove themselves from wherever their normal situation is.
So they don't have to think and ponder about it.
Anything that is distraction that seems out of the ordinary for that person, and they're doing it more than before. But if you only ever knew that person to ever do that, step back and analyze them. Can they sit still? If they can't sit still, then, and they're constantly having to move, because I know so many people that say, I just can't stay in the house. The reason they can't stay in the house is they say, I feel like these four walls are just surrounding me. And why that is because really what they're talking about is their mind is surrounding them, and they don't have anything around them to let them. So even if you only ever knew them as being someone that goes out a lot, evaluate.
True. Well, before you evaluate, go it from the time point, see if the behavior actually changed. Maybe they're always like that and they never sat at home and think, and they didn't even had that personality to even sit at home ever. Some people are just outgoing, they just sit at home, never sit at home. But this is like a deep, so they might have some deep rooted things that they never wanted to sit at home.
Exactly.
But this wouldn't be a like immediate change that this session would have caused. This would have been like a long ongoing problem for them.
So that's actually the important thing that, I'm glad you said it like that, because there are people it's just very deep rooted. They may not be at that stage of, hey, they're going to go and commit suicide, but they may see where they may already be in a lot of pain or pain that they're even unaware of. But, you know, it can lead to that. So they may not be there already, but the point is when you know that, okay, well, now I know to be cautious of this person, because if I do see behavior changes, I need to be on top of it. I need to get straight in. Don't even let it slide.
True. Well, next is the change in their social engagement. This ties up a bit with the distraction part as well, but also like because they don't want to have a conversation much with themselves. As he said, they would do some pacifying behavior to come over it, show it to their friends. They become more talkative, and so that you don't like judge them that, oh, you're not saying anything, I think he's down, so you don't question this person, so they'll be more talkative. Or if someone was talkative, they go in a social environment, they're just sitting down and thinking and pondering, so their just behavior changes and becomes the opposite of what they usually are, their natural state. So they go from their natural state to an unnatural state. If the natural state was you used to go out with this guy and he will be always cracking jokes and he was funny, and now he's just sitting and listening to music, there are chances that he's not coping well. Or there was this guy who used to just always be with you guys but just laugh on your jokes, didn't say much anything, but now he's overly jumping and overly drinking and doing dangerous stunts and stuff, and chances are like he is struggling with a few things and he's overcompensating for some kind of stuff.
There's both barriers, like to the guy that just shuts up now, or it may not be immediate too, because they also are aware. Some people can be very aware that you are reading them, and so they can try and act normal, but you'll see it in their body language. They force themselves to talk. They, you know, or they actually feel like, whoa, this guy, like you said, they're overcompensating. Like, oh, he's funnier than normal, or he's talking more than normal, or he's drinking more than normal, or he's doing these things more than normal. And the funny thing is, the average guy that doesn't, a person that doesn't look at it like that, overcompensating means they hope to feel happier. And so it's two things. One, they could be hiding it from you. My cousin was hiding it from people. But so that's a very simple one. But the other one is they actually hope. you see people that try and go out more and do all these. They hope to gosh that whatever they do, that's going to make them happy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, and
Well,
it's just temporary, you know.
It might even make them happy for that time only, but when they get back, it's
Just temporary, yeah.
So when they're with you, they're happy. They might actually be happy, but it's you should check on them when they're home alone. So just message them and say, "How you going, bro?" Give them regular calls, because you know when they're with you, they're very happy. But when you call them, they sound low and they just sound not that energetic, not so hopeful.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really important, man. Really important. Cool. So
Next is I think low ambition. You can see if they used to have a lot more. They used to always have like big plans, or they will talk about going to a road trip, or they would talk about building something, learning a course, doing something in the career. They had a lot of sports, fitness, any goals, and now you see them like just sitting on the couch eating potato chips. This is an indicator that they have lower ambitions right now, so they're not expecting much out of themselves. And why they're not expecting much out of themselves is because they're not valuing themselves enough. How much they used to value, and they had bigger bars for themselves. And now something is happening which they're not valuing, or they don't care about their ambition. Either one of those, they don't care about those. So they think nothing really matters.
No, because in the end,
it doesn't even matter.
By the way, in saying
Chester
that,
Bennington.
before I go on,
Yeah.
music. If you hear the music they listen to, pay attention if their music seems like their taste has changed. Because changes of music is for your emotion.
The guy who sang this song also committed suicide. Chester Bennington.
Yeah.
He had everything, money, everything, money, success, fame. But then he was struggling, and he was screaming on top of his lungs in his songs, but we didn't know.
We just thought that was just his songs.
Yeah.
But everything that comes out of your mouth is what's in the heart.
Well, not everything.
In a deep level. Yeah, at some sort of stage, but not, Listen here, son.
Listen, don't counterfeit.
We're not allowed to laugh on this episode. This is serious, okay?
I'm sorry, yeah. Well, it is serious, but...
It's serious. Look.
Humor is... We're going to help them and help you, so you can like have that good chat with them.
Give us some grace, guys. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, humor
I
is
know.
important.
You're defending us on our own podcast to the people that haven't even said anything yet.
7 people.
If you're listening, listen here. We can laugh sometimes, okay? It's alright.
Yeah.
No, it's a big thing to actually like pay attention to things people say, you know, because like sometimes a lot of things that you think of, I really truly believe everything's subconscious, man. Like you hear so many people I listen to, and I'm like, whoa, if I unwind it, mind unwind. If I really unwind everything they're going to, it comes from a negative source. That's what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
Not every word, because obviously we say stupid stuff like we just did. That wasn't in my heart. My achy breaky heart. So, even if, sorry, just to add on that one before we go to the next one, even if you come up to that person with low ambition, like you already said, hey, you know, it may be stuff that they normally like to do and you see the changes. But then what if you actually bring something to them that normally sparks something in their eye? Normally this conversation of this topic, traveling, food, whatever it may be, makes them a little more excited in general. And you bring that news to them and they're just still like almost like very non-reactive. It's almost like they're dull.
Nah.
And maybe even if that type of person won, they won not a full lottery, maybe I'm sure anyone in any position with, you know, a $30 million jackpot would be excited. But something that's like, seems like, hey man, this is definitely good news. And they're still, okay, they give you some bite, but it's still like a dull, like, oh man, that's awesome. But it wasn't like a, whoa, normal reaction.
Sure.
Yeah. Changes in eating behavior. So changes in eating behavior is like, there's again always a two scope. So you can be, we'll start off with the one where a lot of people don't eat much. And they actually start neglecting their body from good nutrition. And what I mean by good nutrition is not giving them food. They're trying to almost, some can harm themselves by saying, no, I'm not feeding my body. Some just don't feel like it. They don't want to do anything. It's a chore. And then you get the others that are like, oh, well, I don't care now and I need comfort food. And then, you know what, I'm just going to eat, think about hot, warm foods, a lot of chips, a lot of takeaway, less cooking. And that could be two different things. It could be as simple as, hey, well, they just have no ambition to cook.
And if they don't feel good anyways, technically it also plays on the hormonal level. Like for men, your testosterone level will be down. You're not gonna be digesting food faster. You're not gonna get hungry quicker. So you're not gonna be eating much. Your body will not ask for food anyways, and then you'll feel down anyway. So you wouldn't go and make that meal and eat and say, "Oh, I'm not hungry. I don't need it." But it's happening because of their mental state, their hormones and testosterone, everything is down, and that's why they don't want to eat, and it just goes into a continuous cycle. And they don't eat, and they don't eat well, they don't sleep well, then everything drops again, and then they don't eat again, and then it drops again, and then they don't eat again, and they just
100%.
go on the same loop. So
yeah. Just pay attention to the eating habits. Basically, everything we spoke about is pay attention to changes. So the most obvious is knowing someone going from point A to point B and it being different. You know, it's going to be a lot harder when you know someone already. I mean, it's pretty obvious to know someone if you look at all these things and you read a lot of them having these types of behaviors that are excessive or very low.
yeah,
To see that, okay, because I only met this person like this, but now I know what they are. But if you notice the changes is the easiest way. Either he or she is eating less and not caring about what they eat, or now they're actually purposefully eating a lot of junk food. They're eating a lot of takeaway. They're eating a lot of food to comfort themselves.
Yeah.
They're eating, all these sorts of things. And it doesn't take brain science to get deep into this. So we'll leave it at that.
well, if you see them eat outside, just go and throw their food in the bin.
Yes, that's exactly what makes them change their life around.
Yeah.
You know, you're
And
supposed
slap them in the crowd, like that video.
slap them, make them feel bad about what they're doing. They need to feel bad about what they're doing.
No, don't do it, guys.
Obviously not. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
that's the wrong way. You have to approach them very carefully, because at that point, whatever you say to them, they can take it in a very exaggerated and a very different way as well. It can
Maybe
trigger
that's
them.
our next podcast. How to
Next
handle
podcast.
them.
Oh yeah.
Next podcast.
Next podcast. We can how to handle. Yeah, but if you approach them, they will be very defensive or offensive about these things, and they will not analyze it properly because they are not thinking properly. And if you try to have a logical conversation with someone who is not having a logical conversation with themselves, they're not going to have it with you. So you need to really.
They just need
approach
an
it.
open ear. That's
Yeah.
it. They don't need a judgmental ear,
Yeah.
a judgmental mouth, and open ear. Yeah.
Yeah. How you? Well, we'll talk about the deal later. I
Yeah.
have some ideas.
Before I go on to the last one, actually, is you know what? You brought up one, which is sleep. And sleeping is just something that, hey, people generally will. I knew a lot of people that tried to sleep in early and tried to get more sleep because the more they sleep was the less time they got to think.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know people I've seen who have been struggling, and I've lived with these people who struggle, and then they were harming themselves, and they were sleeping like 10, 12 hours. So like the less days they would have, the less time their eyes are open. They're happy with that, and they just want to
Pretty much.
sleep in more and more.
And even just noticing irregular sleeping patterns, because sometimes just going to bed late, again, that could be distracting themselves with playing games, this, that, and the other. Just irregularities, always irregularities. Something that's different, changes, yeah? Normally they used to go to bed at time, but now they're like always staying up 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. They're staying up late in the night, and they're staying asleep during the day. All these sorts of different changes
Yeah.
really are important to understand. And the next one is changes in appearance.
Yeah, changes in appearance can be also going on both ways. So somebody used to really actually put effort into themselves to go to a meeting or go to see you guys outside, and if they're coming in just their PJs and like loose t-shirts and
Stop
didn't
talking
shower, didn't shave their head, didn't had their hair done, didn't shower, didn't prepare themselves, and if they've looks like they've given up on their own appearance, that is one indicator that they're not putting effort. The other one is if this person never did use fancy perfumes, best suits, best shoes, but they're doing it, buying it now. This is like a pacifier, so they're trying to overcompensate themselves and tell them that they are worth more, or they're like
Basically, they'll be fishing for compliments. And fishing for compliments doesn't necessarily mean they're arrogant or trying to be
they want to be
egotistical.
loved.
They want to feel love.
Yeah. And so this is also the pattern change you can see in themselves. If you ever had a friend who used to always like on point when you guys go out, and this person is like just going in like a muddy jeans, all right, maybe this dude, you need to speak to him. Or if you used to go out and this guy would just walk up in his baggy t-shirt and go everywhere with you guys, but now he's dressing up, then maybe like maybe you should like, oh, are you okay?
True. And you know what? One of my mates, he actually just, he used to just get every week, man. Like I just started seeing him in new clothes. This is someone I knew all the time, right? So there wasn't a change, but he always knew things, new shoes, clothes, everything. And the more and more I started to read into him, I'm like, okay, he's actually just doing that because he wants to get love, so that every time he gets new stuff, people will always say, "Whoa, you look good."
Yeah, I
You
know
look awesome.
another. You know that person too. Anyways.
Yeah. So, just pay attention to that. But one that I want to add as well is just, everything is related to behavior, but now in terms of behavior, like maybe could be their temper. Are they more short tempered than they were before? Do they feel like they break down a lot quicker?
Mood changes.
Yeah, mood changes a lot more. Do they feel like, if they're boiling the kettle, and when they put the water in, they overfill or something? Before it would have just been a normal reaction and something spills in the ground, but now they just overreact. They just get angry quick or break down quick.
Yeah.
They're already at that short temper stage. Things are happening already. Like they're already on the edge of frustration.
Yeah.
So if you notice that they are starting to, be very different with how they respond to you, they aren't. Either it goes again, they become a lot more loving because then they try to receive more love.
Yeah.
So maybe your friend now all of a sudden starts wanting to come and give you and bake you stuff and bring you more stuff and do more things for you. While they can just be more loving, truthfully, just to be them, it can also be sometimes they're trying to draw the love from you to feel good about themselves. And also it can go the other way where they become aggressive towards you and hostile.
And don't want to speak to you. Like,
Yeah.
I have this problem in, like, especially in our countries, men don't want to speak about it, and they would not speak to you about it. And they would probably even tell you, like, I'm not doing well, I need my time, but they would not speak and not discuss things. So yeah, these are the behaviors you should watch out for.
So definitely share this with all of your friends, not one, all of your friends, all of your family members, because there's going to be someone that might be able to listen to this and read the signs of someone that needs help. And it's important. So definitely spread the word. You might have someone that you can help and save indirectly by sharing it with others that start to learn these things.
Yep. And the next time we're going to speak about how we approach these situations with our friends.
Ciao.
Ciao, Bell.
Much love.
Can't hit my chest. I did chest so times.
Ciao.
So I did that.